Okay, so I'm going to start this tapping video by taking you through the tapping points so you know where we're going to tap. Okay, so first of all is the karate chop point. So where you would literally karate chop someone with. So that is just taking 4 fingers and just tapping on that point. So this is where we start and where we will do our setup statement. Okay, so that's what this looks like. From there, I'm going to take you through the sequence, and we start by tapping here on the side of the eyebrow. And that's just 2 fingers. When we're on the face, we just stay with 2 fingers. From there, we go to the side of the eye, and it's just on the bone there on the side of the eye. And don't worry too much about perfecting exactly where you tap. And then below the eye, just on the bone there as well. Okay. And there we move under the nose, on the crease there, kind of above the lip. And then we'll move below the lips, on that crease above the chin. Then we're going to go back to our 4 fingers and we're just going to tap here. So where your collarbone is, you want to be just a couple of centimeters below that. Again, it's not about being perfect in where you're tapping. It's more about just going through this process. From there, sticking with the 4 fingers, we're going to go to where your bra would sit if you had a female. So under the arm and about 5 centimeters below your armpit there. And then lastly, it's on top of the head. And again, just with those 4 fingers on top of the head. Okay. So before we start tapping, we first of all want to rate our issue and the intensity of it on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being calm, great, no need to tap, and 10 being really intense. So I'm going to go through an example of anxiety. And I have used tapping a lot for anxiety in the past. It is fantastic for anxiety. So I would say my anxiety right now is on a scale of 8. So the intensity and the difficulty in the anxiety, it's an 8 out of 10. So it's really strong and really intense. Okay. Now, note that down in case your working memory is not going to remember it, just jot it down. So the first thing we want to do is we want to rate it on the scale so we know our starting point, and then we can measure as it decreases in intensity. So 8 out of 10. Then we're going to start tapping, and we're going to start on the karate chop point. And this is where we do our setup. Okay. And that would look like this. Even though I feel all of this anxiety, I accept myself and I acknowledge how I feel. Even though I have all of this anxiety in my body, I accept myself and I acknowledge how I'm feeling. Even though I have all of this anxiety right now, I am accepting myself and acknowledging how I'm feeling. So we do this 3 times, and we start by saying even though, and we want to acknowledge what we're feeling, what we're experiencing. And then we will say something along the lines of I accept myself or I love myself. And if that is a real struggle, then you could just sit with I acknowledge how I'm feeling. From there, we move up to the face. And we will just say a simple statement like all this anxiety in my body, this anxiety that I am feeling, this anxiety in my chest and shoulders, all this anxiety that I have. I feel all this anxiety in my body. I acknowledge all of this anxiety that I have. This anxiety in my body. All of this anxiety that I am experiencing. I acknowledge all this anxiety that I have. This anxiety in my chest. This anxiety running through my body. This anxiety that I have right now. I acknowledge all of this anxiety. all of this anxiety that I'm feeling today. I acknowledge all of this anxiety that I have. All of this anxiety that I have. So we've just gone through 2 sets, and now we take a deep breath. If you only have time to go through the tapping sequence once, sometimes that's all I have, that's great too. And then you want to rate the intensity of your emotions and how you're feeling about that issue on that scale of 1 to 10. So my anxiety has gone from what was an 8 down to a 4. Commonly when I do this and I'll rate it around a 7 or an 8, I'll get down to around a 3 or a 4. Now you can go through multiple rounds of tapping and you will experience a shift in this emotion. Okay, so the longer you have, the more you can keep going through it. And if you're on the go and you don't have, time to do this, or perhaps you're in public, sometimes what I will do is I will just tap on the karate chop point, or I'll just tap here. And even just doing that is proven to help calm our body and regulate our nervous system and take ourselves out of fight or flight and help with that process. Okay. So again, tapping here or just tapping here. I will often do that when I'm walking. When I'm out going for my walks, I will do that. And I might speak. I might say, in my head, I might say some other statements and acknowledging how I'm feeling. Okay. And again there. All right, my friends, that is how you tap.